anywhere. Gold has also played a significant role in our culture, more specifically during marriage ceremonies, where you would see the bride basically draped in gold. So we're gonna look inside one of the biggest and most famous stores here at the Gold Souk to find out what's all this gold about. What's the most expensive thing you have here?
This is the most big set in UAE. It costs 3 million dirham.
Like, I don't even know what you would do with it.
But these big sticks for weddings.
Weddings. Wow. It is heavy. I'm talking heavy. Like, imagine someone has to wear this throughout their wedding. Like, how do you dance in this?
Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? Man, can you imagine wearing that amount of gold on your body? I mean, one is a wedding dress for $3 million. And I don't even know what the other one was. It looked like a chest plate with two bracelets. They weren't like bracelets, more like armbands. Crazy. I mean, for me to see that kind of stuff, it looks beautiful. But I couldn't find myself wearing it outside anywhere. I'm a big fan of gold and silver. And it's kept where it's supposed to be. Locked up, safe, and protected. All right, look at these countries that are up on your screen. They have a problem. They're all crashing. And this isn't even the complete list, but these are but these countries play a pivotal part in the world's GDP, and like a domino effect, they're all starting to fall. This is what I'm talking about. A lot of these countries have already had bank runs. For those who don't know what a bank run is when everybody runs to the bank at the same time, trying to pull their money out. And this causes a huge problem for the banks who don't keep physical money there. Besides that, they're trying to shove us into the central bank digital currency, which I'm about to show you some more information about it. They don't want people having cash. They're trying to restrict the amount of cash that you do have. So there's bank runs already happening, which I warned people this is going to happen. There is financial crashes in countries, one after another, which is something I warned about that was coming. So what does this mean for the United States? Ride this ride for as long as you can, because we're going to go through it too. Before we get started, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I certainly do appreciate it. If you're thinking about buying gold and silver, go to our friends over there at Money Metals Exchange. The link is down below in the description. If you're a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and you will get a free half ounce of silver. So this gentleman's already talking about what's happening in Lebanon, because it just crashed. And there's a bank run happening there. Let's take a look real quick.
Desperate clients hold up Lebanese banks to get their own cash. The holdups are becoming increasingly common, with 5 on Friday alone, as the financial crisis and a freeze on bank withdrawals push some depositors to the brink.
So what's happening is they froze the accounts of people. There was a bank run in Lebanon. Since people couldn't get their money out, they started robbing the banks.
September 16th, Beirut, armed customers.
It's not Beirut, it's Beirut.
Stormed at least 5 Lebanese banks on Friday to demand access to their own funds, which have been trapped by Lebanon's worsening financial collapse.
So this is Lebanon. This just happened on the 16th. This is happening all over. The media doesn't cover it because they don't want people to all panic at the same time trying to run and get your money out. That's what I'm telling you. I don't hold any money in the bank account. This is going to happen to us. You're running around, you got $10, $50, $60,000 in there, $100,000. And how much do you have in your retirement? You got $1 million? Sayonara. They'll limit your access to your money. They're already doing it now. I don't have to remind everybody that recently a billionaire tried to buy gold and silver. And if you remember in the story, the bank was questioning the amount of money she wanted to take out. She literally had to threaten to sue the bank to get access to her money, which I believe at the time was $100 million. So $50 million in gold and $50 million in silver is what she bought. And she said she'd be doing a lot more. Her goal was to get $1 billion of gold and silver. Now, I've not heard anything new or addition to what she already went through. I don't know if her lawyer has warned her about trying to get the money out of her bank account, but we're talking about a Walton. These are the people who are the children of the founder of Walmart. If they're having a hard time getting their money out, what's that mean for the rest of the people? We're all going to have this experience. So would you rather take a risk, keep your money in the bank, and gamble on the fact that they're going to freeze your account or take your money into bail-in, or find a safe and better way to store your wealth through gold and silver? So in January of 2022, this was the watch list. These were countries on the verge of already collapsing. Now, they want to use the coronavirus as the excuse, but the truth of the matter is we were already telling people the economies were crashing, and like a prophet, I said they're going to look for some lame excuse to blame the crash on. And sure enough, the coronavirus came out, and that's every country's excuse. The problem is it wasn't the coronavirus that caused the crash. The economies were already crashing. This shouldn't be surprising. Every time we do a worldwide monetary policy change, there magically always something pops up, whether it's a disease or not. I think the last time we did a major changeover, the Spanish flu came out. What are the odds? Now we're doing another major change and history is repeating itself. Now we got the coronavirus. They're blaming that as the reason for the economies to crash, and that's not the case. The governments were piss poor in managing what they did with their money. And they are responsible, along with our bankers, Wall Street, the media, who are all part of the same crime family, and took part in watching these guys rip off the public while they made billions of dollars and became very rich. So you got Europe, the Ukraine, Africa, Ethiopia, Sudan, Asia, you have Afghanistan, Kashmir, Europe and Central Asia, Bosnia, Herzegovina, Colombia, Venezuela, Israel, Palestine, Lebanon, Tanzania. We just seen Lebanon. They froze their accounts already. And that's coming here, you guys. I love, because I've actually talked to people. Pimpy, that's not going to happen here, man. It's never going to happen. I hope not. I hope I'm wrong. It's better to be safe and wrong than find out that I'm right and you weren't prepared for it. Here's a bunch of big defaults. The dozen countries in the danger zone. They're not in the danger zone any longer. Their economies are crashing. Argentina, Ukraine, Tanzania, Ghana, Egypt, Kenya, Ethiopia, El Salvador, Pakistan, Belarus, Ecuador, Nigeria. Come on, people. Wake up. If you do not have 25-30% of your money invested in gold and silver, and stop watching the paper market, that's not the real value of gold and silver. Look at it this way. You're able to buy your gold and silver at a much cheaper price than if you bought it a couple months ago. One thing about gold and silver, people, if you go listen to all the different YouTube channels, they're not selling their gold and silver. They're holding on to it, as you should. So the manipulated market is not fooling them or scaring them into selling their physical gold and silver. Like I said, even if it dropped down to $1 an ounce for silver and $1 an ounce for gold, I'm not falling for that crap. I'll just buy more gold and silver. We all know that sooner or later, as countries start to return to sound money, which is what it sounded like China and Russia wanted to do versus what it is we're trying to do. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Here you go. The Atlantic Council Central Bank Digital Currency Tracker. So when I told you they're going to force us into this, I wasn't lying. They're already doing it, and most people don't even realize it. These are countries. So 11 countries have already launched their central bank digital currency. 15 of them are testing it before they launch it officially. 26 countries are developing it. 46 are doing the research. 10 are inactive, and 2 have already canceled it. It goes through here and it gives you the key findings. I'll be going through that a little bit later on. Here's what we're finding out. Multiple central bank digital currency bridges. In September 2021, the Bank of International Settlements, along with Thailand, Hong Kong, China, and the UAE, released a report on phase 2 of the M-Bridge project, which seeks to create a multiple central bank digital currency arrangement for a faster, cheaper, and more efficient mechanism for transfers and foreign exchange operations. So you can see the countries that are involved. Project Dunbar, the Central Bank of Australia, Singapore, Malaysia, and South Africa, in collaboration with the Bank of International Settlement, began exploring the platform for international settlements through Project Dunbar As of March of 2022, the project was successful in building 2 prototypes to allow international settlements across multiple central bank digital currencies. And you can see which countries are involved with this. Then here you have Project Helvetia. Project Helvetia was a collaboration between the Swiss National Bank, the BIS, and the commercial infrastructure operator. 6 in 2020, Project Helvetia explored the feasibility of issuing a wholesale central bank digital currency onto 6 distributed digital asset platforms. In January 2022, it was announced that Project Helvetia was successful in integrating the wholesale CBDC to the core banking infrastructure of the country. And you can see who's involved with that. You have Project Jasper. In 2017, the Bank of Canada launched Project Jasper, which concluded after 4 phases and included cross-border testing with Bank of England and the monetary authorities of Singapore. Singapore is one of the hubs. Project Abar, the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia launched a bilateral CBDC pilot project called Project Abar in 2019 and concluded that decentralized ledger technology can successfully facilitate cross-border transactions. I like the fact that it's decentralized. Project Euro, the Bank of International Settlements, is involved with all these people. And the Bank of the France and Swiss National Bank launched Project Euro that, together with the private sector consortium led by Accenture, will conduct an experiment using wholesale central bank digital currency with cross-border settlements on the distributed ledger technology platform. Onyx Multiple. On July 2021, the Bank of France announced the successful completion of the cross-border payment experiment with the monetary authorities of Singapore that use JP Morgan's Onyx unit. So, like I said, they're not finding out whether or not you're interested or not. They say they're checking in on the public, but people are so distracted right now with so much other frivolous crap that they're just doing this as quickly as possible. They're going to sneak you into it. You're going to wake up one day and they're going to make some huge excuse why it is you can't get access to cash anymore. And then you'll be stuck with the central bank digital currency. So you can see here, there's a timeline, a race for the future of money, where the 109 countries stand on the central bank digital currency progress in May of 2022. So you can see 9% have launched, 14 are in the pilot, 23 developed. So a good majority of them are in research. So for those of you out there protesting against your government, make sure you add this to your list of things you don't want, because you're going to find out right here why. The ABCs of the central bank digital currency. So what is a central bank digital currency? A central bank digital currency is a digital form of a country's fiat currency. A fiat currency. Fiat currency has never been successful. It has failed everywhere a country has implemented the fiat currency. That is also a claim on the central bank. And instead of printing money, the central bank issues electronic coins or accounts backed by the full faith and credit of the government. I'm going to let that sink in for a second. It doesn't say it's backed by gold, silver, commodities, or any other assets. It says it is backed by the full faith and credit of the government. You know, the credit of governments that are collapsing right now. But don't digital currencies already exist? There are already thousands of digital currencies, commonly called cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin is the most well-known fully decentralized cryptocurrency. Another type of cryptocurrencies are stablecoins, whose value is pegged to an asset or a fiat currency like the dollar. Cryptocurrencies run on distributed ledger technology, meaning that multiple devices all over the world, not one central hub, are constantly verifying the accuracy of the transaction. But this is different from the central banks issuing a digital currency. Of course it is. There's a centralized and they control it. I think there's 3 hubs that's being put up. So why would a government get into digital currencies? To control your money. There are many reasons to explore digital currencies, and the motivation of different countries for issuing the central bank digital currency depends on their economic situation. Some common motivations are promoting financial inclusion by providing easy and safer access to money for unbanked and underbanked population. We're a debt-based economy, and that's what they're trying to establish everywhere. And so they figure they can get more people into debt to get a more robust economy. If they really wanted to give access to the unbanked and underbanked, just give people free banking accounts and stop charging them fees. Most people are already in a check cashing system and are not allowed to open up a banking account. So if you remove check cashing and just only give people access to the money that's there and stop allowing them to do overdraft protection, no fees like that, and there won't be a problem. But these people in cash checks are not allowed to open up a checking account, and that's why they're underbanked. So just remove those and that solves the problem. It says also introducing competition and resilience in the domestic payment market, which might need incentives to provide cheaper and better access to money. We already have that with cryptocurrencies, increasing efficiency in payments and lowering transaction costs. We know they're not going to do that. That's just bull crap. If they wanted to, they could just lower it already. Banks are already ripping people off every year for trillions of dollars. You can tell by the bonuses they give their CEOs. So apparently they're making money hand over fist on fees. Won't they reduce those fees or get rid of them if they truly cared about the public? Ready for this? Creating programmable money. What does programmable money mean? Well, they can determine what you can and can't spend your money on. If you're a big fan of the Second Amendment and your government isn't, well, what's to keep them from programming your money to make sure that you can't buy guns to protect yourself against a government of tyranny? And improving transparency in money flows. No, they're not. And providing for the seamless and easy flow of monetary and physical policies. No, their whole goal is to control your money in all aspects of your life. So what are the challenges? There are several challenges, and each one needs careful consideration before a country launches a central bank digital currency. So here we go. Citizens could pull too much money out of the bank at once by purchasing the central bank digital currency, triggering a run on banks. You mean they can't just push the money and create more of them? What? A bank run. Affecting their ability to lend and sending a shock to interest rates. So if they do a bank run, what are they going to exchange their currency for? Yeah, I want my central bank digital currency, and you're going to get like a little coin. So why are they worried about bank runs? Unless they plan on letting us have both cash and central bank digital currencies, which we know they're not. So why are they worried about a bank run? Where the hell's the money going to go? This is especially a problem for countries with unstable financial systems. You don't say. The CBDC also carries operational risk since they are vulnerable to cyber attacks and need to be made resilient against them. So our government wants us to go 100% cashless and trust in the central bank digital currency, one that's vulnerable to hackers. They'll tell you, no, don't worry about it. We've already seen something happen over there in the Bahamas. They launched their central bank digital currency and they were down for 2 weeks, I think maybe a little bit longer than that. People didn't have access to their money. What happens if there's a power outage? What happens if there's a virus? What happens if for some strange reason the system collapses? How do you keep track of your money? It's all digital. How do you have access to money? There's none there. It said the CBDC require a complex regulatory framework, including privacy, consumer protection, and anti-money laundering standards, which need to be made more robust before adopting the technology. If you're keeping track of everything people do with their money, why are you worried about money laundering? If you're cashless, there's no need to worry about that. What are the national security implications of the central bank digital currency? New payment systems create externalities that impact the daily lives of citizens. Yeah, really? Like if you can't get to your money? I'm trying to remember, there was a name of a movie, for the life of me, where this guy had set up a worm, a virus, that stole like 2 or 3 cents out of everybody's banking account. And this happened for millions of people around the world, all at the same time. And this happened for a fraction, I think like 15, 20 minutes or so, something crazy like that. I think it's the movie Swordfish. I might be wrong. But what ended up happening is just that short period of time, it took so much money that the people made millions, actually hundreds of millions of dollars off them stealing 2 to 3 cents out of each person's checking account. What's to keep that from happening? I mean, if it's that low, most people don't even check when 2 or 3 cents are missing. But look more, here comes the bigger problem again. They can, for example, limit the United States' ability to track cross-border flows and enforce sanctions. People are trying to drop the dollar right now and get out of the SWIFT systems because the United States uses sanctions as a weapon and not what it's meant for. And now you want the world to trust the central bank digital currency and allow the United States to control it and allow them to place sanctions still on countries? Yeah, we'll see. But you see what happens when you try to get away from the green dollar. Look at Xi over in China and what's going on with Putin. I haven't heard neither way about what happened to those two recently anyways. In the long term, the absence of the U.S. leadership and standard setting can have geopolitical consequences, especially if China and other countries maintain their first mover advantage in the development of the central bank digital currency. To work on the digital currencies at the geoeconomic center is at the nexus of the future of money and national security. Well, they're already there and they're already making their moves. That's why you're seeing so much ruckus happen in both China and in Russia. So there you have it. Economies are crashing everywhere. It was already happening. See, before, a lot of countries had sound money policies, but somehow, some way, they got fooled into using the US dollar. I think it was the fact that, we were giving money away at almost 0% interest, made it too tempting for countries around the world not to want to borrow money from the United States. If you can get money at 0% interest, why wouldn't you want it? A lot of countries did that, and they ended up in the United States fiat system. And now look what's happening. You get away from sound monetary policies, your countries collapse. And to me, that was designed because it's all part of the World Economic Forum's Great Reset. You guys let me know what you think. Do you think they're going to be able to corral every single country? Because if you're a world leader and you don't agree, well, next thing you know, the CIA has caused uprisings in your country and they end up with regime change. You don't want that. Anyway, that's it for now. I look forward to hearing from you. I will catch you later. I am out.